The men women obsess over are rarely the loudest. They are the ones who make absence feel heavy. And most people miss why that works. This is not about tricks, looks, or money. It is about a psychological pull you can feel. If you understand it, dating starts to make sense. He is not always there the second she reaches out. That tells her his world does not stop for attention, and that creates tension, because easy access feels cheap. She texts at lunch. He replies later, calm and warm. Notice what happened there. He did not ignore her. He just did not rush. That difference matters more than most men think. Desperation chases. Stability responds. When you hover, attraction turns into pressure fast. When you breathe, curiosity has room to grow. But here's the truth. Women do not obsess over distance alone. They obsess over distance mixed with emotional warmth. Cold men feel unsafe. Clingy men feel heavy. The sweet spot is calm interest without grabbing. Think of the guy who has plans after work. He likes her, but he still goes. This is where it gets interesting. Now she starts wondering what gives him that quiet control. And wondering is the first spark of obsession. The next thing is purpose. A man with direction feels bigger than the moment. That makes a woman feel she is meeting a life, not a need. He talks about his mission, not just his feelings. Pay attention to this. Purpose is not being busy for show. It is having something real you care about deeply. A craft, a goal, a future you protect. That kind of focus is magnetic, because most people are drifting, and drifting feels weak. When you know where you are going, people feel it. But here's the part nobody says. Purpose also makes love feel safer. A grounded man does not make every mood her problem. He carries his own weight. Imagine dinner with two different men. One only talks about her attention. The other talks about building something that matters. Guess which one stays in her head later? It is the one whose life already had momentum. Now let's talk about emotional control. Women get pulled toward men who stay steady under pressure, because calm energy feels like protection, not chaos. She tests him with attitude. He stays relaxed, not reactive. Notice the shift. The moment you lose control, she stops feeling your strength. Not because men cannot feel, but because panic spreads. And panic kills desire fast. A calm man changes the whole emotional room. He listens before he fires back.
He pauses before he proves a point.
This is where it gets interesting. That pause makes her feel your mind is stronger than the moment, and strong minds are hard to forget. Think about an argument over something small. One man sends 10 angry texts. The other says, "Let's talk when we're both clear." Pay attention to this. The second man becomes harder to shake emotionally, because peace is rarer than passion. Another trigger is mystery. Not fake mystery, real space. When everything about you is instantly available, the chase dies. She watches your stories, but she still cannot read your whole mind. But here's the truth. Oversharing too early feels like emotional dumping, and emotional dumping feels like pressure wearing a smile. You do not need to hide. You just need layers. Give people something to discover over time. That turns attention into investment. This is where it gets interesting. The brain values what it works to understand. That is why mystery stays addictive. Think of the man who shares slowly but honestly. Every date reveals something deeper. Now she leans in instead of checking out. Pay attention to this. You are not trying to confuse her. You are giving the connection room to build tension. Now, here is the part most men skip. Women obsess over men who make them feel deeply seen. Not flattered, seen. He remembers the thing she said she hides from people. Notice how powerful that is. Most people listen just enough to reply. Very few listen enough to understand. And understanding creates emotional gravity. When you name what she feels, trust rises fast. She feels less alone around you. That feeling is hard to replace. But here's the truth. Being seen is more intimate than being praised. Anyone can call her pretty. Few can say, "You act strong when you're hurt." That lands in the chest. Imagine she says, "I'm fine," with a forced smile. You quietly say, "You sound tired, not fine." This is where it gets interesting. That one moment can stay in her mind for days. The next obsession trigger is boundaries. A man who respects himself feels expensive, and people value what does not beg to be chosen. She cancels last minute twice. He stops making special effort. Pay attention to this. He is not punishing her. He is protecting his time and energy. That sends a powerful message without a speech. I like you, but I do not abandon myself. That line changes everything, because standards feel rare now. But here's the truth. No boundary means no shape, and no shape means no tension. People lean in when they feel your limits are real. Imagine she disappears for 3 days, then comes back sweet. The needy man rewards it instantly. The grounded man stays kind, but not overeager. Notice what happens next. She starts feeling your absence too. Last one, and this may be the biggest. Women obsess over men who are consistent. Not predictable in a boring way, predictable in character. His words match his actions, again and again. This is where it gets interesting. Consistency builds trust, and trust builds obsession. Because the heart relaxes when it knows what is real. And once the heart relaxes, it attaches deeper. That is why mixed signals burn hot but fade fast. Real pull comes from congruence. You say you care, then you show up. But here's the hidden twist. Consistency does not mean giving everything away. She still has to earn deeper access to you. Your time, your trust, your inner world. Imagine a man who is warm, solid, and selective. He is open, but not instantly owned. Pay attention to this. That balance is what people call irresistible, because it feels safe, rare, and worth pursuing. So no, obsession is not created by begging harder. It grows when your presence feels calm, deep, and hard to replace. Build that kind of self, and people feel it before you speak. If this hit home, keep it with you on your next date. And if you want more real psychology like this, stay close.